Hey everybody! We are here live. Thank you so much for joining me, and happy Wednesday. So if today's Wednesday, y'all know what that means. It is time to let some spirit wisdom come through. So if you are here live, I would love to see a comment. If you hear something that you like, be sure to hit the like button. And if you hear something that you love, be sure to hit the love button so that we know that Spirit's messages are coming through loud and clear. And if you are new to me, I did want to welcome you to the Healing Hummingbird and the Healing Space. My name is Meredith, and what I do with my heart-centered business is I help spiritual go-getters and healers reclaim their power to heal themselves and transform their lives so that they can walk on the path towards their life purpose, embodying the way of the hummingbird, which is one of love with a brave heart and lightness of being, drinking only from the sweet nectar of life. And today, Spirit wanted to talk about progress and the many forms that it can come in. And I am a gardener. I love plants, I love flowers, and Spirit's really been talking to me a lot through the plants. So I hope you like plant metaphors, because that's what Spirit gave me a lot of this week. And just a reminder to stick around until the end after Spirit's messages, because they always want to do a week ahead reading for you. And if you have any questions about progress or about the week ahead, make sure to drop them in the comments down below so that we can review those and get to those for you. So progress. When I first talked to Spirit, I got the word, like what we're talking about this week is progress. And I said, okay, well, what do we need to hear? What do we need to know about progress? And it seems that many of us are at the end of a progression or in the maintenance stage of a progression. And if you're anything like me, sometimes I need a little bit of encouragement around that time. So just keep that in mind, that Spirit said that a lot of people who will be watching this will be in the maintenance stage, which is the last stage we're going to go over. So just a little tidbit preview there. But the first type of progression or stage of progression that they wanted to talk about is seeding. So this would be when you're first starting out with something. Maybe you have a realization or you have an idea that you'd like to pursue. You might make new connections or shift your perspective to even believe that something is possible. So that's like putting the seed in the ground. We're usually pretty energized around this time. And even though it just looks like a little, dirt pile, like we've just covered the seed with dirt, it's not really exciting looking. It feels exciting. Now the second stage then would be foundational. This would be establishing basics like, for a person, where am I living? How am I getting income? How am I putting food on the table? Water, safety, things like that. And so you would just want to make sure that your seeds have proper drainage, water, sunlight, that the place that they've been put is in fertile soil that has nutrients for them to thrive. Now, sometimes we need to go back and readdress this step up in the maintenance phase. Maybe one place that you found suitable to live before is no longer suitable. And so then you could uproot, and then it's like, transplanting a seedling into a bigger pot, right? Like, I just need more room to drop roots somewhere else, which is totally fine. That's part of the process. And now here's an interesting stage that some of my plants are in, like literally my plants outside, is pruning, or dropping things, releasing what no longer serves, which can be a little tough to do if you know that you're cutting off potential places for little blossoms to be. But when the plant releases that part of itself, it restores the energy back into the base of the plant for new growth, for stronger growth, and to fortify the health of the entire plant. So it's really important not to skip that step, even though it's kind of uncomfortable to do. And then the most tangible or initially exciting stage of progress would be blossom, or flourishing. So this would be visible progress. The plant gets taller, the plant gets bushier. Maybe even there's beautiful blossoms that open, and it's a really exciting time. It's when you're manifesting things, you have big, beautiful changes in your life. You're not just existing, but you're thriving, you're just glowing. So that's a really exciting time. And now the last phase of progression they wanted to talk about today, and the most important for today, remember, is the maintenance phase, where we may need some encouragement. So this would be continuing daily practices with dedication. And they want me to give some of my gardening examples. I planted snapdragons recently, and when I planted them in the ground, many of them already had open blooms, which is great, but I knew that they were going to drop them pretty quickly, which is kind of like, oh no. And, you know, even though I have a fair amount of experience with plants, it still can be kind of disheartening to see all these flowers just all over the ground. And some of the plants kind of look like they're struggling a little bit. But that doesn't mean I'm going to give up on my snapdragons. I still love my snapdragons. I believe they're going to recover. So I just lovingly gave them a prune. I helped them deadhead themselves. And I'm going to give them time to grow. And Spirit wants us to apply that to ourselves as well. And to not get too discouraged if a couple things here and there just don't seem to be working out. That it's okay to just go, okay, well, we can prune that, we can deadhead, and then, you know, refortify the plant, give ourselves more energy to put into new growth, or reorient ourselves to grow into a different direction. And they also want to bring up, again, reassessing previous stages. So asking yourself questions like, what needs to be pruned? What needs to shift? Are the nutrients okay in the soil? Are we getting enough water? Do we need to add fertilizer? Maybe some plant food? Or like we said before, sometimes it's time to take your seedling and put it in a different container, or even in the ground, because there's only so much growing they can do in a little seed starting container. Like I have some seeds started outside right now. And then let's say a plant doesn't make it, or something in your life doesn't quite work out. If one of my plants doesn't make it, I don't think, I would be shocked if I did, but who knows, I'm a human, could happen. It would be hard to imagine yelling at the plant and going, why didn't you work this out? Or you could have done more to make this work. Why didn't you thrive? Or getting frustrated with this poor plant. It's like, no. The first thing I would think would be, okay, the environment that I put it in wasn't quite right this time. Maybe the zone wasn't right. Maybe it wasn't like living regionally in the right place. And so we can look at the circumstances and either change them for next time or try something completely different in the future. And Spirit wants us to think of ourselves in that same way. Because I used to be really hard on myself and just think, well, I could have made that work if I would have just been more tolerant, or if I would have dug my heels in or worked harder. And sometimes just, you know, things are just not meant to work out for us. And that's part of the progress, is learning where my energy feels best, what roles feel best for me and my energetic imprint. And before I wrap up the types of progress they wanted to talk about, I did want to deliver a couple of their messages that they just gave generally outside of the list. So this could be something that somebody needs to hear that's going to watch this video. I know it's something that I need to hear, but they wanted to remind us that progress is natural, progress is universal, and by just existing, you progress. If you think about something that you might anguish over, and this, I don't know, do you guys know Anne of Green Gables? I grew up watching that that movie with my mom. And there's this line, I think Anne is worried about a test, like a geometry test. And somebody says to her, the sun will keep on rising and setting, whether or not you fail or pass geometry. And Spirit brought up that quote to me, that no matter what is going on in your mind or perceived problems that are going on in your life, the sun does keep rising and setting. and that is progression. It's progression of time. And because you are a living being, you are progressing with time, which I thought was really beautiful and kind of deep, philosophical coming through. And they wanted to reassure you that even in the phases of your life, if you're resisting progressing, you're still progressing, because that's part of your story, right? To resist sometimes is what is needed in order to learn a lesson. And I don't love learning lessons the hard way, but I know I've done it plenty of times, and a lot of it was me resisting the lesson. And this quote just came up, something that I saw earlier this week, which I thought was interesting. Maybe it will resonate with some of you, but this person was saying, if I really want to do something, I find a way. And if I don't want to do something, I find excuses. So maybe somebody here, myself included, needs to check in with themselves about what you really want, what's really resonating with you. And it could be that you do really want something, but you're still making excuses. That just means there's some kind of block, like fear, or maybe feeling like you can't do it, which of course is not the case. But yeah, I thought that quote was interesting, that Spirit brought that up to me. So apparently we needed some encouragement this week to keep going. I know that it's kind of an intense time. We have a full moon and an eclipse, and the eclipse is in my sign, Sagittarius. So I know that can be, at least for me with eclipses, it usually comes with some kind of perspective shift, a big shift in the way that I see something. And usually the need to release something as well on the full moon. So that's the type of progressions that Spirit wanted to go over, wanted to reassure you that you are progressing, even if it doesn't look like it. Even if there's a bunch of flowers on the ground, you're growing your roots. Or even if you have to prune something back kind of brutally in your life, your stem is going to be stronger for it. So I hope that resonated for you, and I would love to move into some week ahead readings. Hi, Dawn. I see your comment there. She says, love the growing phase. Yes, I do too. I've come to love the journey a lot more than the destination, though that did take some time. But yes, I do love the growing phase. And some of my morning glories outside just got their set of true leaves. If you're gardeners out there, they're the little heart-shaped leaves. It's really exciting. With a vining plant that's a really vigorous grower. I can't wait to see what they do. So, okay, moving ahead with our week ahead readings, I would love for you to invite your spirit guides into the space and to just take a deep breath in with me and a slow breath out to ground the energy. You tap into your heart space and just ask Spirit to show you which group this week holds your message. We have 3 groups this week. You may see a color or a number. You may hear an answer. You may just know or feel an answer. This week they suggested that I show these little different color candles for the groups, which I'm always like, there's some meaning that's going to come up in this. It's always interesting. So group number 1, you have the red candle. Group number 2, the purple candle, kind of lavender. And group number 3, you have the blue candle, more of a turquoise. Okay. Now that you have your group for the message that is going to help you with the week ahead, do want to remind you that this is a timeless reading. If you happen to come across this, in the future, from this point on, the next week, this is what Spirit wants to help you with. So for group number 1 with the red candle, let's see what Spirit would like to share about your week ahead. Right, and they want to use this deck. This is called Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. Oh, you already had 2 fall out. Let's see what we've got here for group number 1. We have Magic Guardian. She says, unlock the magic within. And Oracle. This is one of my favorite ones from this deck. She says, wait for important information. I do feel like group number 1, even though you picked the red, which would be some kind of root chakra work or something in the lower body that needs fortifying, or that you will be fortifying in the next week, I do feel a connection with the throat here. So let's see what they have to say about the root and throat connection. Unlock the magic within. And both of these ladies are holding bowls with sacred smoke coming out. So it feels like you're either already in the midst of making this decision, or a decision is going to come up in the next week that you need to make that's going to be rather important. The type of decision where you're like, give me a couple days so I can check in and see what's going on, and then I'll get back to you. So they're showing me the need to quiet the mind. Maybe you have a meditation practice that would be helpful to get back in touch with. And they're talking about alignment with the spine and how important it is to make sure the spine is straight when you're connecting in, when you're making this decision. And they're showing this energy coming up from Mother Earth into the root and then all the way up into the throat, so that you can then, like, there's some kind of block that's going to be dissolved so that you can speak the messages that you're getting. And the fire here, or the smoke rather, it's making me feel like there's something that's being released as well. And it does feel like fear. So maybe that there's something that's going to come up in the next week that might make you feel a little freaked out at first. Like, oh man, I have to unexpectedly make this decision and it feels uncomfortable. But Spirit's saying, if you just quiet the mind, if you just sit with us for a little while, you'll feel so much better, feel so much more grounded. And your spirit guides are asking you to allow them. So all you have to do is allow them to help you with this block here. Because I feel like it's really tightening, like with anxiety, like, oh, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. How do I communicate with my spirit guides? I'm not sure what to do about this. Yeah, it's an invitation to relax and receive. There's going to be, I feel like I need more information about this decision. So when this comes up in the next week, Spirit wants to let you know that there's another piece of information that's going to come to you that may affect your decision. So they're stressing the importance of not making a snap decision, but to really take time and honor your intuition and honor your guides, and know that it's okay to tell whoever needs to know the answer, I actually need a couple days to think about this. And they're saying that won't be a problem to take those couple days. Now let me take one more look here to see if there's anything else. Okay. And then also with this card again, they're bringing up the Magic Guardian. Spirit wants to talk to you about owning your authority, owning your agency over your life. They want you to know that a circumstance or some kind of adversity is not to define you or to make you feel helpless, ever. That's just across the board, ever. They want you to remember how beautiful you are within, and remember who you truly are, your true essence, right? Your soul, your spirit, and how powerful that is when you're tapped into that and you can make decisions in line or on purpose instead of just like a panic decision. They want to remind you how powerful that is and how much they can help you with that throat blockage, group number 1. So I hope that resonates with you, and best of luck with making that decision in the week ahead. Just know that you have your guardian, your protector, spirit guide with you, and that you have more information coming when you look within. Spirit's got your back, and I hope you have a great week ahead. All right, now group number 2. You have the purple candle or the lavender candle. Let's see what Spirit has for your week ahead. All right. Yes, Dawn pointed out that both the ladies in the cards had red on. I noticed that as well. What a beautiful synchronicity for group number 1. Letting us know, that Spirit picks these cards out in the perfect time. Okay, group number 2, you have the High Priest. And he says, intend and create. And then you also have the Shaolin Master. And he says, be graceful in movement and action. Okay. Let's see here. So this is quite different energy from group number 1. Group number 1 felt more about being faced with a situation and tapping into a divine feminine aspect, which is more about receiving and allowing. And this is very masculine. This is very yang energy, like taking action, but in a certain way. So let me see what else they mean by this. Intend and create. So with this card, they're bringing attention to the direction that everybody's facing. And Spirit saying there's a need to clarify your direction or your intention. And they want to remind you that thoughts become things. They're saying thoughts become things, and to be aware of your energy at this time. And so they're bringing up this example from when I was in shaman training, and we were talking about how to do house clearings. Maybe this is something you're concerned about, pile number 2, so I hope this helps. And someone in my class asked, well, what if something really, really bad is there? Or how do we protect ourselves? And my teacher immediately just shut it down and was like, no. If you think that way, if you think about protection, I need protection, please give me protection, things are going to be drawn to you that are going to make you feel like you need protection. It's almost like they hear you and go, oh, did you want me to come visit you? Okay. So it's like, it's because it comes from a fear vibration, right? Like there's such a difference between maybe you need to buy insurance for yourself or for your house or something. There's such a difference between just lovingly getting it like, oh, I'd love to protect my property and surround it in pure love and light. This is awesome. I'm so thankful that I'm able to get this or participate in this service for myself, rather than, oh man, I better make sure I got all my alarms on. I better make sure I got all my cameras on. I am freaked out. So they're talking about the difference between those two attitudes. And again, they're saying thoughts become things, and it's something to be aware of, and not in a bad way, but in a conscious way. Because group number 2, particularly this week, they're saying you've got some big, bright, creative power going on. Maybe this eclipse is affecting you. Maybe you have Sagittarius or another fire sign in your big three, sun, moon, or rising. So they're wanting to let you know to make sure that your perspective is aligned and in a direction that you will be happy pursuing, because it feels like something's going to be manifesting and popping through for you, and you want it to be in a good way, right? Not like attracting fear, because energies are kind of magnetized to each other that are similar. So you don't want to attract fear to yourself. And this is kind of integrating both messages with self-discipline, and in a way that's loving and calm and graceful. And on this card, I don't know if you can see that little guy there. For some reason, I cannot think of the name of this insect. It's completely just like, whoo! I'm having some psychic amnesia right now. But sometimes they appear outside in my garden, and it's so interesting because because of the size of them, they look kind of intimidating. But if you watch the way this insect, praying mantis, that's what it is. Okay. But if you watch the way the praying mantis behaves, it's actually really beautiful. They'll hang on the leaves and they'll kind of rock with the breeze to blend in. And it's just a really beautiful energy of embracing what is, embracing the now moment. And group number 2, if you're not familiar with Eckhart Tolle, he's one of my favorite teachers. He has a lot of free videos on YouTube, a lot of free content. I highly recommend his book, The Power of Now. And it's just all about embracing the now, the current moment. And I feel like that's your biggest message for this week, group number 2. Intend and create and be graceful in movement and action. And to really embrace the power of your presence and the power of your intention, because that is really directing all the energy around you this week. So those are the messages I received for you, group number 2, with the purple candle. I hope that helps, and just know that Spirit is with you and so excited to help you at any moment, and that everything will become clear. And it's kind of similar to group number 1. Everything becomes clear when you just tap into yourself and your guides in the present moment, and everything is going to be okay. All right, group number 3. You had the blue candle. Let's see what Spirit has in store for the week ahead. What would be most helpful to hear for you, group number 3, with the blue candle? All right. And now they're already telling me to take 3 cards for you, so that's what we will do. First card, Medicine Mother. Honor your inner knowing. I'm seeing a pattern here between these groups. I don't know about you. Seems like a collective message going on. And then we have the Heart Guardian. Love and let yourself be loved. Wow, beautiful. And then for your third card, oh, we have another Guardian. There's not many Guardians in this deck, so it's significant to get one. Mirror Guardian. Take time to reflect. Beautiful. All right, group number 3 for you particularly, I feel like this next week, there's going to be something that comes up in a personal relationship for you, maybe family or romantic. Some kind of relationship that is close to your heart that would really affect you. And Spirit is really emphasizing your inner knowing and the power of your breath for some reason. They're encouraging you to get in touch with the power of your breath, to remember to breathe through the next week. And I'm hearing the phrase, whatever it is, it's already here. It's already here. Let me feel it. But in a way that's really loving and nurturing. So let's see what else they say about this. Honor your inner knowing. Love and let yourself be loved. It feels like somebody is going to confide something in you that might logically feel surprising, but it's something that your inner guide, your inner master already knew to begin with. And Spirit's letting you know that it's okay to take time to reflect on that. So someone you love confiding to you something that you've kind of already known all along, that it's okay to tell them, I'm just going to need a little bit of time to myself to really process that, and to really love yourself, to accept the fact that Spirit loves you. They're always around you. They're protecting you all the time. They're nurturing you all the time. And to just know that, oh, that's so interesting. I feel like I just heard people fighting in the next room. So maybe this is an energy that's around you. Maybe there's some kind of relationship that can be turbulent. It can be hot and cold. It can be awesome, but then really turbulent. And so if that's the case, and there's a few different energies here, so either you've got a lot going on or a lot of different people picked the blue candle. But if that's going on, if you have some turbulence going on, Spirit wants to remind you that it's okay and super necessary, by the way, to take time for yourself, to be with yourself, so that you're not constantly being conditioned by other people's energies, and to just let them know, thank you for sharing that with me. I love and respect you, but I also love and respect myself. And for me, that means I need to remove myself and have some me time just by myself. And I would love to speak with you again about this later. And Spirit's saying that you really know best about this. You really know best to trust your instincts. So they want to talk to you about the difference between your instincts in this situation and your fear response. So a fear response could be fight, flight, or freeze. So I'm thinking of myself as a child, like if I were getting in trouble or something like that, like if an adult was raising their voice at me, I would I freeze a lot. I'm a freezer. So instead of, fighting back, freezing, or just, I'm out of here, bye, there's a way to deal with the situation that's a lot more healing for you. And Spirit wants to really stress that for you. You are who is most important in this situation, to make sure that you are being nurtured and honored and respected. And you will just know what to do. You will know, okay, that's enough actually. This conversation's no longer helpful. And unless we can shift the tone right now, I think we should revisit this. And I'm also going to take a little break for myself. Like, that's totally fine. And Spirit wants to let you know that they are on your side, that they're right there rooting for you in your corner. And they would love for you to invite, this sounds so strange. I'm not sure what they mean by this. They want you to invite them into this relationship or this conversation. Maybe it's a conflict. And it only takes like a split second to do it. Maybe it's just started happening. Maybe someone's confronting you. All you have to do is take a moment and go, Spirit, I invite you into this conversation. And they'll go, okay, we're here. And you may notice the other person's demeanor change. Or maybe you have an opportunity to just naturally take yourself away from the situation, which is so helpful. But Spirit wants you to know that you are so supported, and that speaking your truth doesn't always mean literally speaking. Oh, how interesting. So sometimes silence is okay. Sometimes your absence is okay. Sometimes that's part of speaking your truth. It's like, truthfully, I don't really feel like this is a great place for me right now. And so that is the main message for you, group number 3, which is so powerful, especially with this eclipse energy. Maybe something's really being shaken up for you. But Spirit wants to let you know that you have a lot of divine feminine energy around you, celebrating you, you know best, nurturing you because you matter. So that is your week ahead message, group number 3. I hope that resonates with you with the blue candle. And checking back in here, Dawn says, very informative messages. Thank you, Spirit, and the Healing Hummingbird. Thank you, Dawn, so much. It is my honor to work with Spirit and deliver these messages for, it's funny, the phrase, the collective has been coming up. So the collective, some of these universal energies that we're all experiencing, like a full moon or an eclipse, can really impact us all. And I think that was really evident in some of the through lines in the 3 groups. So those were beautiful messages from Spirit. Hi, Tiffany. Thank you so much for joining us live. She says, I look forward to this every week. Oh, that means so much to me. And I have to say, I look forward to it too. It really nourishes my soul and feels really good to get Spirit's messages out there. And kind of a little surprise for everyone who stuck around to the end, Spirit's been kind of tapping me on the shoulder like, you should start doing other readings on YouTube. So I'm thinking about doing some pick-a-card readings, and if that's something that you would find interesting, like more extended readings where you can, like top-down, where you can see the cards, let me know. And if you have any topics that you would love to see, I'd love to hear that as well. But thank you all so much for showing up live. I'm sending you so much love and light. Happy full moon, happy eclipse. May you release what no longer serves you. And I'm wishing you an awesome week ahead. Take care.